G'day guys, and welcome to another gameplay video. Today we're checking out some Sanji gameplay. Sanji is actually a pretty fun deck, really good at spamming out characters early game, really good at rebuilding character presence, and really good at just some cheeky Don restanding on both turns. Typically we want to go second with Sanji, and great for us, which we do get to go here in this game. And typically we want a mulligan to get two cost characters, which we did get off the draw here. Now we can play one, and Sanji's effect is when we play vanilla, as long as we have 3 or less characters, we can restand Don. So then we got to pump out 2 characters, which is great for us here. Our opponent on their turn swings in a leader, we take that, and then they play out a Garp. So Garps we just got to be wary of, because if our characters get to a cost of 0, you can quite easily remove that on attack. So on our turn, we draw into the Love Beam. But now, because we've got a few characters on board, we can get 3 swings in, all at 5k, which is great for us here. So we're going to swing, apply some good early pressure. They take the first one. Looks like they go into a Meteor Volcano, which allows them to draw 2, trash 1. And then we will swing into a leader again. We'll have a look at what they trashed in just a moment. It is the Barcelona. There we go. So good for us there. So they take that second swing as well. Then we swing for a third time for 5k. What are they going to do here? They counter out with another Barcelona. So that's 2 down, which is actually pretty good for us. Then we're just going to end our turn there. If we had another 2 cost character, we could play that, restand those 2 Don, and still have access to that Love Beam, which we don't, unfortunately. So we're just going to pass over there. Our opponent's stacking some Don there, and then they play out the Tsuru, which reduces cost by 2. So on one of our characters, so Garp can swing in at 1, delete the other. We're going to try and save the other one here with the Love Beam. They are going to swing in with the Smoker to take it out. A little bit of strategy there allows us to avoid having shots at our life, which we need with a 4 life leader. So passing our turn, we draw into the Doflamingo. We're going to swing, trying to swing over the Garp here. They're countering out, so you're going to have to use 2 cards there, which is interesting. A third Barcelona, there we go. That's actually pretty good for us. Very interesting they're choosing to use that. We play out the Usopp, restanding 2 Don with the Sanji effect. Now, just debating if we want to use the Sanji or the Doflamingo. End up going with the Doflamingo, having a look at the top 5 cards. As you can see, we've got a lot of access to plenty of counter events. So what we want to do here is we want to have a Punk Gibson drawn next turn, because it's broken, allows us to buff and rest. And then we want to have the Usopp as kind of the next draw after that. Then after that, doesn't really matter what kind of order we have cards drawn in there. So we're just reordering those right now, and we'll just pass turn right there. So we're leaving 2 Don up to make our opponent think that we do have access to more 2 cost events. Our opponent pops up 2 Don under the Smoker. They're swinging in at us at 7. We have no way to really effectively counter that without using more than 1 card, so we'll just take that. We go into another Mihawk off life. And then our opponent plays Kobe, which is going to delete one of our characters here by trashing a card. And they delete the Usopp. A little bit interesting. Would have thought they would have deleted the blocker there. And then they're passing turn over to us. So we draw into that Punk Gibson, which we saw earlier. Now we attack in with leader. Now there is a chance that we can get our character removed there, which we do. Impact Wave comes in, blocks and removes a 3 cost or less character. So we could have played them differently, maybe swung in with the Doflamingo, but then at the same time we did want to save him for a blocker there. So misplay, but not a misplay at the same time. Then we play out the Mihawk, costing us 4 essentially, because we get to restand 2 off Sanji. Passing over to our opponent, they're popping the Don under the Smoker using the effect. They're swinging in 6k. So we have a couple options. We can play the 3 sword style, play out the Usopp, which will restand 2 Don, allowing us to have access to the Punk Gibson. But deciding to just go straight for the Punk Gibson here to stop an additional attack here. So we're resting the Kobe just because that is the bigger character in terms of attack power. Leaving us with 2 Don. They play out the Sakazuki, which will delete our Mihawk, unfortunately, by trashing a card. Poor old Mihawk. And then passing over to us. So we are attaching a Don, swinging in at Kobe, trying to clear that there. This is probably a bit of a misplay here, just because we're going to go for the kid play this turn that you counter out with the impact wave there. We can go for the kid. We're going to attach one Don. We're going to use this effect to play out an Usopp, restand 2. Now, if we didn't attach the Don to Sanji, we would have had 3 Don active here, which would have left our 3 sword style as an active option for us in this turn. But unfortunately, we didn't. We live and we learn. Passing over. Our opponent has to go to 13 here because they think we may have a 2-cost 4k buff, which will put our kid at 12, so they're swinging at 13. We can't stop that. And then surprisingly, they just passed. They didn't swing with the Sakazuki. Yeah, very unusual. They didn't do that. But we draw into that Love beam, which we've seen earlier. We're going to attach it on to Sanji. We're going to swing in at leader for 6k. They possibly will have an impact wave. Bit of misplay there. Should have swung with the Usopp first. But luckily they didn't. We'll swing in there. And yep, still taking life, which is good for us there. Now we'll play out the Mihawk, leaving us with 5 active Don. Which gives us access to both our Love Beam and our 3 sword style. Passing our turn back to our opponent. They're going to swing in with the Sakazuki at our Usopp. We're going to save that. We're going to go with the Love Beam here just so we can get some draw power. We can replenish our hand. I believe we're going to go into a Punk Gibson. Yes, we are. Our opponent's adding some extra Don up on the Smoker. They're going to swing in for 8k this time at the Usopp. Now here we're going to use the 3 sword style to play out our Usopp, which will restand 2 Don, which allows us to then also use our Punk Gibson this turn as well, which is absolutely insane. As you can see, some really cool plays here with Sanji. They're going to stack the Kobe, swing in at the Usopp. We're going to use the Punk Gibson to block that and then rest the Garp, which means they can't attack at our characters anymore. And seeing if they play anything else out here. Yep, they do. They play the blocker, which not the greatest for us. We draw into that repel, that last card we saw off the Doflamingo earlier. And we just got to be mindful of impact wave here because they do have the 2 active Don. And they got a pretty decent board presence. If we can't clear it, if we can't win here this turn either, we're going to have a rough time moving forward. So we're going to try and go for the win here. Attaching Don to the Usopp. Now, did a bit of a misplay attaching Don to the other Usopp because if they do have the impact wave, they're going to delete it. Bit of a waste of a Don, but they didn't luckily, which is great for us. So now they have 4 cards in hand, a blocker. So what we want to do here is just add another Don here to the Usopp. We're going to swing in and see if they use the block or if they counter. Oh, our opponent actually just surrenders there. Obviously didn't draw anything good off their last life there. And what we would have done after that next swing is stack a 2-3 Don under the Mihawk, swinging in for 10-11k there, using the rest of their resources there, and then using our Sanji to swing out for game there. And that is the Sanji deck in action. As you can see, some cool things with rebuilding boards, reactivating some Don, which is really fun. But if you do want to see a deck profile, let us know in the comment section below. But thank you so much for tuning in today's video. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.